Lades and Mananasizuas, the Committee on the Guam U.S. Military Relocation, Veterans Affairs, Homeland Security, and Judiciary is called to order. It's about 9:02 a.m. I'd like to thank my colleague, Senator Tony Ada, for being with me this morning. Thank you. And on the agenda, ladies and gentlemen, we will be discussing Bill number 321-32 COR, an act to amend Section 80.50 to Chapter 80 of 9 GCA, and it's relative to increasing the fines for felonies, misdemeanors, and violations. This bill was introduced by my colleague, Senator Tony Ada, or V. Anthony Ada, and Senator Chris Duenas. At this time, I do have some folks in the audience. I'd like to thank them for coming here this morning. Good morning. They will be presenting oral testimony. But before I call them up, I'll go ahead and ask Senator Ada to at least give us a brief description of the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for conducting this public hearing this morning. And this is on Bill 321-32, an act to amend Section 80.50 to Chapter 80 of 9 GCA relative to increasing fines for felonies, misdemeanors, and violations. Madam Chair, the fines for most violations of Guam's criminal code have not been changed since they were created, and much of Guam's criminal law is based on the model penal code, which Guam adopted in the beginning of 1970. At the time, fines for felonies were established at $1,000, misdemeanors were $500 to $1,000, and petty misdemeanors and violations were below $500. I was led to believe that it would make no sense to increase the fines since most criminals will not be able to pay for them, especially those who receive prison time. But like many states, Guam law allows criminals to pay off their fines through community service. Under Guam law, the number of community service hours to convert a fine is the amount of the fine divided by the minimum wage. In 1970, the minimum wage was $1.60 per hour. In that year, a felon who was required to pay a $1,000 fine would have been required to work 625 hours of community service to pay off that fine. Today, at $7.25 an hour, the felon would work only 138 hours to pay off that fine. In January of next year, when the minimum wage goes up to $8.25 an hour, the felon would be required to work only 121 hours to pay a $1,000 fine. This bill raises the fine similar to similar levels for crimes to levels similar of most states. Even with the new levels, if this bill is enacted, criminal fines, Guam fines will be much less than the limit Congress enacted for federal crimes. First and second degree felonies will be increased from 10,000 to 100,000. Third degree felonies will be increased from 5,000 to 10,000, and misdemeanors will be increased from 1,000 to 5,000. Petty misdemeanors and violations will be $2,500 and lower. Those criminal acts that where the fines are specific within their sections of law will be increased by a factor equal to the change in the consumer price index, since over the time the fine was created by statute. And that's my presentation here, Madam Chair. Thank you. I look forward to the testimonies of those who are willing to testify on the bill.
Situs Masi, Senator Ada, and at this time to present testimony on behalf of the Judiciary, I invite Mr. Joshua Tenorio from the Attorney General's Office, Attorney Phil Tydinko, and Miss Ann Keith, I guess, with the Judiciary. Please, you're more than welcome to come up. Okay. Okay. And I will go ahead and welcome you if we need to ask you any questions about it. Okay, Mr. Tydinko. Since you signed up first, Mr. Tenorio, just go ahead and say your full name, state your full name, where you're from, and if you're in support or not in support of the bill.
Good morning, Madam Chair and Senator Ada. My name is Joshua Tenorio. I'm the acting administrator of the courts for the Judiciary of Guam. As you noted, with me is Attorney Ann Keith, staff attorney for the court. The judiciary, the question whether or not the judiciary is for or against, I guess it's more appropriate to say that the judiciary respects fully that it is the legislature's authority to determine punishment, fines, levels of fines, and fees that will be assessed to those that are convicted of crimes in our community. So I want to point that out, that the judiciary doesn't take a position for or against the legislation. I do note, however, that both Madam Chair and Senator Ada have been authors of legislation that I believe have significantly improved the administration of justice on Guam, and for Senator Ada, definitely in the area of domestic violence and how we deal with those things in the judiciary. So, we do thank the attention, the continued constant attention that the senators have continued to place on improving the method of administering justice on Guam. We'd just like to point out that, at least with regards to the last portion of the bill, which deals with paragraph F and tying fines covered by paragraph F with the Guam Consumer Price Index, there are perhaps a couple things that we can work together on. We do have a team that's analyzing this to see what the true impact would be. It's not clear when the calculation or who would make the calculation. I think those are all administrative things that we definitely will work with the committee and with Senator Ada to discuss as we're going forward. And therefore, I do not have any further testimony on this bill.
So based on your comment, Mr. Tenorio, we can look at a markup on this provision or work closely with that. I do know that we're coming up against a budget session, but if we want to get this on the agenda, hoping that Senator Ada's office and you guys could come up with something sooner than later.
Absolutely.
Okay. Sadamasi.
Yes. Good morning, buenas, Senator Tina Muña Barnes and Senator Tony Ada. Phil Tidink on behalf of Attorney General Plata's and the Office of Attorney General. With regard to Bill 321-32, of course, we support any amendments that assist the effective and efficient administration of justice under our criminal justice system, and of course the fines, like other parts of our law, are in need of an update. Although I would request that we do have a markup meeting to discuss some of the provisions, especially F. At least from a prosecution viewpoint, I foresee delays and challenges in our sentencing, because there are a lot of offenses that specific fines enumerated by the particular offense or statute, and then everybody's gonna say, okay, what's the Guam Consumer Price Index? Court's gonna order someone to go do this or do that. It's gonna hold up things, and so I would say, if this has to go quickly on the floor, I'd ask that someone do a floor amendment and take that out. I mean, for now, until we figure out how it works, because otherwise it's just going to slow the process down, I think, sentencing. I'm just giving you the practical, on-the-ground, everyday situation. It's a great idea to adjust them, but perhaps what we need to do is just simply go through the statutes of all those that have specific fines and just update them ourselves. The ones that say, okay, for reckless it's $100. Well, then we should just identify all of those and just amend them, and you'd have other bills to do that. So that would be my recommendation. And the other input, the only thing that raises concern that I just wanted us to research is increasing the fines with misdemeanors and petty misdemeanors. I just wanted to make sure that the fact that you increase the fines does not, in other jurisdictions, not necessarily Guam, but when you increase the penalties, even fines, on what appears to be minor offenses, that can be argued, and I have argued this way, by the way, in other jurisdictions, that turns it into a felony or a higher crime, time. So again, that's a technical argument, um, or or it renders it to be more serious. So again, I don't know the case. It's been a while since that's over 20 years ago. I remember arguing that, in either in Hawaii or elsewhere. So that was the only thing that popped out for me, was that that misdemeanors and petty misdemeanor does increasing the fines, render it into a felony for other, not so much for the category, but for example, a petty misdemeanor generally is not tried before a jury, but the fact that you put a felony type fine on it may render that individual to demand a right to a jury when he shouldn't have a right to a jury because it's just a petty misdemeanor or a violation. So I would say those are issues that we should address, because otherwise it's fine. And the other thing is, I would differentiate between felony first and felony second. I'd have different fine amounts, maximum fine amounts, because we do sort of have maximum jail amounts for felonies 5 to 20, and second is 3 to whatever 15. So why don't we just make, the first is 100,000, then maybe second degree should be 50,000. I don't know. I'll leave the numbers to you, but rather than just saying 100 for both first or second, so that we can distinguish between the one is meant to be higher than the other, just sort of a logic issue. Otherwise, we support the concept, and maybe we can do a quick markup. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Taitinko. Any questions from the author?
No, Madam Chair. I'd just like to thank the court and the AG's office for their testimony here today, and I look forward to the markup to where we can come together and make this a better bill.
Thank you, Senator Ada. On behalf of Senator Frank Aguon, I do want to just apologize on his behalf. He was trying to get in, but apparently the flights got delayed, so he should be in this evening, and asked me to cover as his vice chair. I was glad to do that. I will note for the record that to the listening audience, if anyone wishes to present written testimony, they can do so by sending it to the office of Senator Frank Aguon at 155 Hessler Place, Hagåtña, Guam 96910. You could fax it to him at 475-4863, or you can email him at agunforguam@gmail.com. Again, agunforguam@gmail.com. I will also note for the record that the notices has been sent out based on existing statute, meeting the 5-day requirement, and also the 48-hour notice requirement. With that being said, if there are no other questions, we'll go ahead and call this Bill 321-30